Drugs are bad. They can hurt you, they can kill you, and they can break up families. Nearly 1 in 5 deaths are drug related. In 1998, approximately 17,671 people died in Australia from drugs. That's horrible, and we need to change that. Now let's interview some people that have had experiences with drugs. Now we're going to interview a lady called Haley, and she used to be addicted to drugs. Now she isn't, and her life is so much better. What were you addicted to?
I was addicted to the drug ice.
What did it feel like?
It felt like I was really happy very quickly. Lots of energy, not tired, not hungry. Like I was Superwoman. I could do anything and nothing was impossible.
Did you ever overdose?
I didn't overdose on ice, but I tried a lot of other drugs and I did overdose on them. And one of them was called GHB.
Have you had many consequences?
I've had lots of consequences. So everything that I ever worked for or earned got taken away from me. So my beauty was one of them. My face and my body was rotting from the inside out. I lost my family, my friends, my daughter. I lost my house, I lost all my money. Just everything I ever had just left. And the consequences were that I just hit rock bottom and I had nothing left, and I had to start my life all over again and even move states in Australia to get my life back on track.
What made you come away from drugs?
So I had enough. I've lost everything and I couldn't handle it anymore, and there was nothing left. And so I reached out and said to the world or the universe, if there's a God, help me. And I got led to a church and I got saved. And ever since then, within 6 months, I got my daughter back, my family back, my money, my house. I got a car, all in 6 months when I had nothing. And that's because of God. And so God has been the one thing and the only thing that's worked for me to quit drugs and successfully quit drugs.
Is life better away from drugs?
It is. I think, like with me and a lot of other people that use drugs, they seem to be bored and they seem to be alone and they feel like they don't fit in the world. So a lot of people relapse because of those reasons. And I think to make life better away from drugs, you've got to find out who you are and what you like to do. And for me, I'm an extreme person and I love fast things like motorbikes and roller coasters. And so swapping adrenaline for drugs sometimes and finding that's who I am and finding people and places in a church where I fit in makes it a whole lot better, and it makes it worth it to be off drugs.
Now we're going to interview a lady called Bronwyn Haley from the Hope Foundation. She has a really amazing story. Were you addicted to drugs?
Yes, I was addicted to heroin.
Did you ever overdose?
Yes. So overdosing means that you take so many drugs that your body shuts down, and they had to call the ambulance for me, and that happened to me I think 4 or 5 times when I was addicted to heroin. I was on heroin for 6 years.
What made you decide to give up?
I decided to give up because when I stopped I was 24 years old and I'd been on drugs since I was 18. And I decided that I wanted to have some kind of life, and that drugs weren't giving me the kind of life that I wanted to have. And I had a lot of friends that were dying from drugs around me, and it freaked me out. So at the age of 24, I decided I'm going to get clean from drugs.
Why did you do drugs?
That's a good question. I did drugs because I made some choices in my life when I was a teenager that I wanted to not have to think about anymore. I didn't want to have to think about the consequences of those choices, so I actually took drugs to try and numb my pain, except that then I got addicted to drugs and I had to use more drugs to not feel the pain that I felt, and so I was just trapped in a cycle, and they call it the cycle of addiction, but I didn't know.
Do you now help others?
I help lots of others now. So when I got off drugs when I was 24, 6 weeks into being in rehab, I became a Christian. And when I became a Christian, I realized that I wasn't just going to be clean and sober off drugs, I was actually going to be free. And only Jesus can set someone free. So I wanted every person that was trapped on drugs or that had a broken heart to know that Jesus died for them on a cross too, so that they could be free. So I wrote a book, I started preaching, and 14 years ago I started reaching out to the broken women in the city of Brisbane, and now I run a charity called Hope Foundation. I decided to help other people because I was sad seeing people that were trapped in a place that I used to be, and I wanted them to know that they could be free, that they were loved, that they were valued, that there was something about who they were, that there was nobody else like them on the planet, like you and like me. It's called the Hope Foundation. We have a cafe too now called the Love Well Project. The Hope Foundation helps other people, so we have about 90 women around Australia, and we help them by celebrating life. Basically, that when you ask the Hope Chicks, they say, the Hope Foundation loved me back to life. So we tell these women that they're special, that they're valued, that they're important, and we do birthday parties, we do baby showers, we do Bible studies, and we take them to the movies and the art galleries, and we teach them how to live again. It's pretty cool. What would I like to see happen with drugs in Australia? I would like for kids your age, because you're 8, right? I would like for all of the kids that are your age or even younger to know that drugs are bad, that not everybody that takes drugs is going to end up running a charity and falling in love with Jesus and changing the world. Lots of people die, and it's not only the person that gets addicted to the drugs that gets hurt, it's also their loved ones, their family and their friends, because they're watching someone of such amazing potential kill themselves slowly, and it's really sad. So I would love to raise awareness, and I would love for everyone. I do a school program, so I go into schools and talk, and I say every choice has a consequence. So I would love for kids to know that.
We heard from Bronwyn, and she said that drugs can not only kill you, but it can also break up families. Now we're gonna interview Magella. Her family's been broken up by drugs. Where is your partner?
He's at the Palin Creek Correctional Centre, so jail.
Why is he in jail?
Because he got caught by the police selling drugs.
What is it like having him in jail?
Well, it sucks a lot because I have to look after Dakota all by myself, and I have to travel every weekend to go see him. So it's not very fun.
How does it affect your daughter?
Well, I think that she doesn't get to see her dad every weekend, so she might not be as attached to him as what she is with other people.
What is hard?
Having to look after a kid by myself when he's in jail, and having to do everything on my own because he can't help.
What is Nathan missing?
Nathan is missing watching his daughter grow up. He can't see her first birthday, or he couldn't see her being born. He couldn't see her take her first step, so he's missing out on a lot.
Any last advice?
I would say to people, don't take drugs and don't be involved in drugs because it's not very good for you or your family or other people.
What great interviews. I've learned so much. Drugs are not worth it. They can kill you, they can hurt you, and also they can break up families. That's bad. Say no to drugs.